Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game review of our absolutely shocking defeat to Brighton and Hove Albion 3-2 at the Amex last Saturday. We're here to talk about the game. Unfortunately, I know a lot of you probably don't want to talk about the game. I know a lot of you probably want to just get it out your mind and never ever have to think about it again, but we are here to talk about the game. Apologies, I'm about 5 minutes late. Sorry, I had to run the toilet basically because I thought it didn't, and then I thought, you know what, I may as well run the toilet before we go to stream. So I do apologise about that. We're here to talk about the game. Of course, an absolutely shocking result and pretty much overall a shocking performance. You know, we said in the instant match reaction that you know, the last 10 or 15 minutes was complete capitulation. It was typical Everton. It was what we've come to expect. But realistically, when you take a step back and when you actually think about the entire performance as a whole, and when you actually start to delve into the entire performance, it was pretty poor from start to finish. We never controlled the game. We were sloppy in possession. We were giving the ball away. And in fact, it was a game of nothingness really for the first sort of 45 minutes. Brighton had their opportunities. We had a couple of opportunities. The possession favoured Brighton. So we never really controlled the game at any point. And that was really disappointing for me, considering how well we played against West Ham last Saturday, and how consoling we were and how much we really did take it to them. We just didn't on Saturday against Brighton. Again, we turned up to another away game where we just didn't look like we wanted to play football whatsoever, and for me that was massively disappointing. I want to just say as well, before we go into the review and before we start talking negatively, I just want to say a big thanks to everybody that wished me a happy birthday yesterday. It was my 21st yesterday, and I had a load of comments on the instant match reaction and a load of tweets as well, so a big thanks to everybody for that. Really does mean a massive amount to me. And yeah, obviously I wasn't blessed with the greatest results on Saturday, but like I said in the instant match reaction, I was turning the Twitter off, I was turning the YouTube off, and I was just focusing on that, because if you think too much about Everton, you'll be disappointed, of course. David says, come on Cam, it's like waiting for an Everton away win. I do apologise about that, mate. Carl says, bullshit in it, Cam. It was bullshit, it really was. Zeno says VAR caused the downfall. VAR was a big part of it, and obviously we're going to talk about VAR in today's live stream, but I don't think it was all VAR, to be honest with you. The last sort of 15 minutes, and obviously the penalty situation was VAR's fault and the referee's fault, and like I said in the instant match reaction, the referees are an absolute disgrace in this league. But I think overall the entire game, we were poor. We really were poor. And David says, your toilet habits mirror the club, piss poor and absolutely shite. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So anyway, let's delve straight into the game. Listen, like I said, for me, from the off, we struggled. We really did struggle. We were unable to control the game. We didn't really look like a team that, wanted to go out and wanted to get the win. We still looked a bit shy. We still looked a bit shook to go out there and really put our foot on the ball. Like I said, Brighton were having their fair share of possession, and they were having their fair share of opportunities as well. It was quite an even game, and for me, that screams a red flag straight away. If you're going into a game against Brighton, and again, no disrespect to Brighton, but they're the team that we should be looking at, whether it's home or away, and we should be looking at to get the 3 points against. And if you're going in there and it's looking like a more even game, then it's not really a positive, considering the team that obviously went out and started the game against Brighton was pretty much the exact team that played against West Ham the week before, with the exception of Mason Holgate being in there for Yerry Mina, which obviously was forced via an injury, and it was something that we all screamed Marco Silva to do. We all wanted Marco Silva to play the exact same starting 11 or as close to it, obviously given that Yerry Mina had an injury, and he did exactly that. He made one change which was forced, and other than that it was the exact same starting 11, and we all went into the game positively. We all thought, you know what, same tactics, same starting 11, let's go out there and put the same performance in as we did against West Ham. But it wasn't that at all, was it? Let's be honest. Yes, it was the same starting 11, and Marco Silva talked massively in the pre-game press conference on Thursday about how it was going to be the same tactics, and we were going to go out and try and replicate the West Ham performance, and we were going to go out and try and do the same and get the 3 points. But it wasn't. We looked slow, we looked lackadaisical, we were giving the ball away, we looked sloppy, and we looked scared, and we looked nervous. And this was a big part of the West Ham game. I said we were playing comfortably, we looked like we were enjoying playing, we wanted to play, and that game against West Ham, we could have played for another 90 minutes there, and we'd have continued to create opportunities, and we'd continue to have fun playing football. Whereas on Saturday, we looked scared. We didn't really look like we wanted to be on the pitch, and every single Everton player looked like they were waiting for the referee to blow the whistle for half time and then for full time, because you know what? It just was absolutely shocking. I'm just going to tweet today's team. I'll try everybody knows that we are live. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below as well. Really does mean a massive amount to me. Give me 2 seconds. Let me it seemed. Leave a like on the video as well if you are enjoying, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter as well. It really, really does mean a massive amount to me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Give me 2 seconds. Let me get the stream out on Twitter so everybody on Twitter knows we are live and can come over and join us. There we go, all sorted. The phone's about to die, so hopefully we got that sorted just in time. Evertonian TV says, did my own match reaction. That was an absolute disaster, but I believe it went for the VAR decision. We should have won. But we can use that, and again, like, we're going to talk about VAR massively in today's team. We'll go into talking about it in a little bit. And yes, you know, VAR had a big part to play in this game, but the mentality of our football club is really, really poor, and we can't let every little tiny thing drag us down so much, because yeah, if it wasn't for VAR, we might have had the, you know, the momentum to go on and win that game. But you know, you could turn up against Everton and you could literally go boo and would fall to bits. We are like a wet paper towel. We really, really are. We just absolutely disintegrate at any negative part of play. And obviously VAR had a big part to play in this, but I don't just think it was VAR's fault. I don't think we were good for the entire game, and I think we would have taken a 2-1 victory in that game, and obviously the penalty situation wouldn't have happened and the own goal wouldn't have happened. I'd have looked at this and gone, yeah, absolutely fantastic result, brilliant, you know, result, but the performance wasn't that great. Where are we? Kadir says, hi mate, David Moyes. No, please no. David says, no chance. Mike says, we need a big centre half with small feet. There you go. Football TV says, once you have read this comment, I'm going for a wee, but I'll be back. Thank you. David says, a defender could fart and VAR would give a foul. It's a joke. It certainly is. Steve says, just another poor display by the Blues. We best get back on track tomorrow and beat Watford in this cup game and keep confidence for Sunday against Spurs, or Silver's got to go. I agree. Football TV says, oh dear. Arteta when he says, hello mate, you going to Watford tomorrow? I am mate. Kadir says, Delph Walcott change was the wrong choice, Brighton vs Everton. I think every single change was the wrong choice, to be honest with you, and we'll talk about them in a second. Football TV says, Watford Everton playing tomorrow night. Yes, I'll be there. David says, subs were terrible, they were. Arteta when he says, Everton have ruined my weekend once again, but I can't fucking wait for the Blues under the floodlights. Listen, I didn't let them ruin my weekend. Like I said, I was out celebrating my birthday yesterday. I'm going out again later today. I was out on Saturday, so I didn't let them ruin me weekend, because if you let Everton ruin your weekend, pretty much every weekend would be shit, wouldn't it? Because we don't turn up many a times. So yeah, like I said, you know, from the start we were unable to control the game. It was sloppy, it was slow, and it was disappointing really, because you look at the performance against West Ham and you think you want to be going out and you want to be mirroring that type of performance. You want to be putting in a very similar performance to that, but we didn't. We looked scared. We looked shook. We looked like we didn't quite want to break forward and, you know, pepper the goalkeeper with shots. Obviously, we go 1-0 down in the first half. Again, I don't know how many times we have to say, stop giving away stupid free kicks on the edge of the box. Stop giving away free kicks in positions that you know we're going to be hurt by, because it's absolutely shocking to think how poor we are at defending set pieces, yet we still consistently think, you know what, I'll give a free kick away on the edge of the box, or I'll give a free kick away, you know, near the corner flag where they can whip a ball in. We're so poor at defending set pieces, so why the fuck do we give so many stupid fouls and so many stupid free kicks away? It's absolutely beyond me. Andre Gomez gives a silly free kick away in a stupid position. Pascal Gross steps up, puts his foot right through it, and it just goes absolutely through Jordan Pickford. And you know what? I've been a big supporter of Jordan Pickford ever since he's come in and put the Everton shirt on. I've always defended him, and I've said a lot of times when people have, you know, doubted him and when people have said he's not good enough, this, that, the other, I've said, you know what, you know, to be honest, a couple of the goals weren't his fault, etc. It's not just Jordan Pickford's fault, but that was Jordan Pickford's fault. I don't care what anybody says. Any international goalkeeper at any level should be saving that. The ball is pretty much straight at him and it lets it go through his hands, and that isn't acceptable in a game where you know there's so much riding on it. You know we have to go out there and we have to put in a 10 out of 10 performance at the very least. You really can't let you know the ball go through your hands like that. You just can't, and he does, and it's absolutely, you know, it's poor from Pickford and it's poor from Andre Gomez. I think the pair of them have to take blame for that goal, because Andre Gomez should know much better than to give a free kick away in that position, and Jordan Pickford should be doing a lot better with the ball being fired at him there as well. Toffee Talk says, right, can't bad time to be a blue, mate. We need cheering up. Desperately, we do. Arteta when he says, sitting in the lower glasses tomorrow, so it's going to be decent. It will be. Paul says, I'm probably shitting myself, horrendous run of fixtures until the new year. We could genuinely get relegated. We could be in a seriously poor position by, you know, Christmas and by New Year. We really could. And I'm going to talk about that again a little bit later on in the live stream. But we could be in a really tough position come, you know, Christmas time, January time, and that's why I think we really massively need to get our heads into gear. Toothy Officer says, wow, you have really big hands gripping that Dr. Pepper. It's only a little one, mate. It's a little one of those little mini ones from Asda. I haven't got big hands, I don't. Arteta Money says, to be honest, mate, they did ruin my weekend, but my midnight Saturday, I couldn't remember what an Everton was. David says, Jesus, 3-day party, go on, lad. Toothy says, don't joke about alcoholism. I'm not joking. I don't really drink much, to be honest with you. I just like to go out and socialise. David put smiley faces and Arteta Money says, haha, nah, I'm sad. So anyway, yeah, going like I said, the first goal was just an overall shambles to give. But even from that point, we weren't on the front foot. We weren't attacking the game well. It wasn't like it was against the run of play. Brighton were giving as good as they got. Brighton had the majority of the possession. Brighton were creating, as many opportunities as we were creating, and they just ended up getting the first goal. Obviously, a stupid free kick to give away, like we said, and an even sillier free kick to concede, especially considering it was right at the goalkeeper. Obviously, we go up the other end pretty much straight away and react massively positively, and this was one of the biggest positives of the game, and one of the only positives of the game really was how we reacted to the first goal. We went straight up the other end of the pitch and we equalised pretty much straight away from a set piece. Oh my god, when was the last time Everton scored from a corner? I think there was a stat in the game, Everton haven't scored from a direct corner or a direct set piece. I think it was a corner this season, and Brighton haven't conceded from a corner this season, and it both happened within the same game, within the same chance. So obviously, corner comes in, Richarlison goes for the header. I think he touches it, but it ends up coming off the defender. It's given as an own goal. If Richarlison does touch it, I'm not sure how it's given as an own goal because it's only going towards goal, so that would mean that it's on target, so it shouldn't be an own goal. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We equalise, and it's 1-1, and all of a sudden you're thinking, right, we've got our heads up now. We haven't let our heads drop after conceding. We haven't done the usual Everton thing of what we ended up doing later on in the game, which obviously we weren't to know at that point, of letting our heads drop and just absolutely falling to bits and then just accepting a defeat at that time. We've picked our heads up. We've realised that we probably shouldn't be 1-0 down. It was a stupid goal to give away. It was a stupid set piece to give away. And we've gone on and we've got the equaliser pretty quickly. And we were back in that game then. It was 0-0. Momentum was on our side. Positivity was on our side. And that was the time to pick ourselves up, go again, and go again. Obviously, we're hit with a massive negative when Bernard goes down, totally against the run of play. The ball's nowhere near him. I think he twists his knee or his ankle, I think it is. Twists his knee, twists his ankle, ends up going down, and he's had to be replaced by Gylfi Sigurdsson. Now, for me, this was the first poor substitution of the game for Marco Silva. I think all three substitutions Marco Silva made were wrong, to be honest with you, and this was one of the massively wrong ones. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand the easiest substitution is to bring Bernard off, put Gylfi Sigurdsson on, put Gylfi in the 10, and put Iwobi on the left. But exactly what we said towards, in the game review for the West Ham game, Gylfi Sigurdsson in that number 10 role just doesn't offer you enough movement. He's fantastic on the ball. He's got one of the best, shots of the ball you'll see in the Premier League, but he just doesn't offer you enough movement. He really doesn't. And he didn't on Saturday. And he was put in that number 10 role. Iwobi was pushed out wide, and Iwobi's game just faded away. He didn't really do much from that point on because he was put in a position that he's not properly utilised in, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. He should be playing in that number 10 role week in, week out, because not only is he good on the ball, not only can he can break teams up, but his movement off the ball is absolutely fantastic, and it's just something that Gylfi Sigurdsson doesn't give you. I love Gylfi Sigurdsson. He's fantastic. I think he's a brilliant player, but he just doesn't give you enough movement off the ball. And when Bernard had to go off, and you've got that quick, skillful, clever player that is constantly moving around the pitch, and you're bringing him off for a player that, okay, is a luxury footballer in terms of his technical ability, but doesn't do an awful lot of movement, all of a sudden you're slowing the game down massively. And that's what happened. And I'm not saying this result was Gylfi Sigurdsson's fault. I'm not saying that it's Gylfi Sigurdsson's fault that he come on, but it slowed the game down massively. And for me, that was a real big negative. So Gylfi Sigurdsson obviously comes on. Iwobi's pushed over to the left, and that was a big hit for us. Not only because the movement was taken out of the game a little bit, but also because one of our key players, one of our best performers over the last 6 or 7 games, had have to come off due to forced injury. We've since heard that it could be around 1 to 3 months that Bernard's going to be out through his injury, which again, it's just what we needed as Evertonians, isn't it? But we go into half-time and it's 1-0, and you're thinking, you know what? We've come back into this game. We conceded the stupid goal, but we picked our heads up and we've come straight back into this game. Happy days. Let's go on now and let's, get our head back in game. Because even half-time, you were thinking, well, okay, it's 1-0, but have we performed well in this game? No, we haven't really. We've been sloppy in possession. We haven't really looked like we wanted to break them down properly. And we haven't put an awful lot of pressure on the defence and the goalkeeper. We've just been a little bit lackadaisical. So you're thinking, you know what, we're going in at half-time, give them a big team talk, Silva, and get them out playing like they were playing last week against West Ham. Regardless of whether we're away from home, it doesn't matter. Get them playing like they were playing last week. But again, it just wasn't like that, was it? It really, really wasn't like that. And again, like I said, the overall performance in the second half, it wasn't turned up at any point. There wasn't an injection of ability, of pace. There wasn't an injection of intensity. And again, I don't know how much you can blame Marco Silva on for that, or the players, because it was the exact same start 11 that started against West Ham, with the exception of Mason Holgate for Yerry Mina. And don't get me wrong, I'm not backing Marco Silva. We'll talk about Marco Silva in a second. I'm not backing him. I'm not saying it wasn't his fault. I'm not saying he shouldn't be to blame, because the substitution was shocking and they were his fault. And the fact that we've absolutely capitulated once again and the mentality is still as weak as a wet paper towel is, partly his fault as well. But again, the players coming out and the players not starting from the off, unless he is telling them, don't play with intensity, don't play with urgency, don't play with pace, don't play with passion, don't pepper the goalkeeper, don't put shots on the goalkeeper, don't try and break the defence down, then I don't see how he can be blamed for the fact that they didn't play like they played against West Ham. And if he is telling them all of the above that I've just said, then he shouldn't be in a job. He should be sacked straight away, because there's no way you should keep a manager in charge of a football club that's telling the players to play negatively, regardless of who we're playing and where we're playing. So again, the players come out in the second half and it's not much better. It's still sloppy. We're still giving the ball away. Brighton are still having their fair share of attacks. Brighton are still getting their opportunities. We're getting the odd opportunity as well. It's a very much even game, and you're sitting there thinking, yes, okay, it's an even game. Yet it's 1-1. Yet we're not getting beat. Yet it's not the worst performance. But should we really be putting up an even match against Brighton, or should we be taking this game, by the scruff of the neck and going out and absolutely battering them? If you're not enjoying the scene, by the way, please do leave a like. It really, really does mean a massive amount to me. Where are we in the live comments? David says, at worst will be 20th come New Year's Day. Shocking. David says, would be Everton to beat Watford, then Spurs, then lose against Southampton. It would be. Football TV says, sorry, once you have read this out, I'm going to go. Sorry, maybe back later. Depends on how long live I'm going to film a bit for my channel. No worries, mate, no worries. Tudy says, any news on Bernard yet? Like I said, probably around 1 to 3 months out injured with his injury. Dave said, not yet. He had a scan this afternoon. Again, this isn't confirmed by the club. This is just from, rumours and things regarding a similar injury that, that other people have had. Paul says, no way we get anything against Spurs, David. It's hard to disagree. David says, then Iwobi got taken off and Gylfi went wide. Like, what the fuck exactly? What's he doing? Does he know what he's doing? I don't know. David also says, Spurs almost as bad as us, Paul, and at home we can beat anyone. I agree. Our home form isn't a problem. We probably will go out and beat Watford tomorrow night, and this is why I want to talk about Marco Silva and his time as Everton manager a little bit, a little bit later on in the team, because we probably will go out and we probably will beat Watford tomorrow night. But does that really change anything? Because if we can't get any away wins and if we can't put a performance in away from home, it doesn't really matter what we're doing at home, because we can perform as good as we want at home. But if we can't replicate that away from home, even when we're playing sides that we should be beating, then for me, he's not the right man for the job. If the mentality is as weak as it is away from home, it doesn't matter if we're going out and we're smashing teams 3 or 4-0 and we're creating 35 million opportunities at Goodison Park. If we're going away to Brighton and we're absolutely falling to bits at the smallest negative, then there's something seriously wrong. Jonathan says, hope we don't go down. Me too, mate. Kadir says, Watford getting victorious longing from us throughout the league. Football TV says, Soz off. 3-2-1 off, no problem, mate. Thank you very much for getting involved. Evertonian TV says, Paul Davies, we just need to get behind them and put in our best. Guadav says, the fixture list might reduce us to falling into the bottom 3. Think Silva will last the season. Not at this rate, I don't think he will. David says, can't see it myself. And Paul says, my fear is if we concede, the heads will drop and Spurs will just pick us off. Spurs have quality players. Exactly, and Ed's dropped on Saturday and Brighton picked us off, and Brighton managed to get the win with 5 or 10 minutes to go. So, like you said, Spurs have got some good quality. Okay, they're not performing at the minute. Okay, they haven't been in good form this season, but they've got some real quality in the team, and they could turn us over, if they wanted to. If they're enjoying the team, by the way, please do hit the like button. It means a massive amount to me. If you're new to the channel as well, please do subscribe and get your thoughts in the comment section down below. Share the stream, share it to everybody, all your friends, all your family, on your socials. Get everybody involved as possible. Anyway, like I said, we get into the second half and we haven't really upped the tempo. We haven't really decided to actually perform like we know we can perform. Obviously, a little bit later on, about 15 minutes before the final whistle, somehow, some way, Mason Holgate is within about 30 yards of the opposition goal. He puts in an absolutely fantastic ball, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores a real striker's finish. And I want to touch on Dominic Calvert-Lewin now, because I think it's about time that we get off Dominic Calvert-Lewin's back. And I said it in the instant match reaction, and I'll say it again. I'm disappointed that we're not seeing Moise Kean. I'm as disappointed as anybody else that we're not seeing Moise Kean involved, that we're not seeing Moise Kean start, that we're not seeing Moise Kean off the bench. I'm as disappointed as you are. However, that's not Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fault. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's come in and he scored 4 in his last 5. He scored against Manchester City. He scored in the Carabao Cup. or the FA Cup. He scored in one of the cup competitions. He scored a fantastic goal on Saturday against Brighton. It's not Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fault that Moise Kean isn't being involved in this game. If you want to blame anybody about Moise Kean not getting game time, it should be Marco Silva or it should be the player himself, because either Marco Silva isn't starting him because he's worried about him, or he's not confident, or he doesn't trust him, or Moise Kean isn't putting in the performances and saying it. He simply isn't impressing enough in saying it. And we don't know what the case is. We don't know whether it is because Marco Silva doesn't want to risk him or is worried, or whether Moise Kean just isn't putting the performances in saying. But one thing's for sure, and that's not Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fault. So when Dominic Calvert-Lewin next is about to come off the bench, I don't think it's fair for us to say, oh, it's Dommy's shit, where's Moise Kean this, where's Moise Kean that, because at the end of the day, on the surface of things, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's coming in and he's scoring goals, he's putting balls in the back of the net. Moise Kean isn't. So as much as we want Moise Kean to succeed, and as good as Moise Kean can be, and as much of a talent as we know he is, and as much as we all know he's not going to improve if he's not playing football matches, that isn't Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fault. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin is putting in decent performances when he's coming off the bench. He really, really is. So if Dominic Calvert-Lewin's in the starting 11 tomorrow, then I don't think we should say a negative thing about it. Yes, Moise Kean should also be in the starting 11, and I think they both should play, like I've been saying for a while. However, this isn't Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fault. Dom comes off the bench once again and he scores a really, really good goal. And a goal that, if you're wearing an Evertonian, you probably sat back and thought that's the winner of the game. Everton have surely won this game now. Everton is surely going to go on and win. But with Evertonians, so we know that's not the case. The commentator saying, I can't see any way back for Brighton here. I can't see Everton losing this. Are you taking the piss, mate? Are you joking? Are you seriously joking? This is Everton Football Club. We never, ever, ever look comfortable in a game of football. We could be 6-1 up with 10 minutes to go, and I still wouldn't sit there going, we've won this game. Burnley away last season when we were 5-1 up, it wasn't until the final 4 or 5 minutes that I sat back and went, you know what, we've probably got enough to win this game here. Surely they can't come back and win. If we're up by 1 goal, even if there's 30 seconds left, there's no guarantee we're winning that game of football. I've seen Everton get 95-minute winners in games and still manage to not get the 3 points out of that game twice in a matter of 4 or 5 weeks against Bournemouth and against Chelsea. It doesn't work like that with Everton. We're not a normal team as to where we'll go and score a goal 10 minutes before the end of the game that could be seen as the winner and then actually go and win the game. It doesn't happen, and it didn't happen on Saturday against Brighton. So obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin puts the ball in the back of the net. It's a fantastic finish. It's a brilliant ball by Mason Holgate as well. And all of a sudden, the momentum does switch a bit. We are on the front foot, and Brighton don't look like they're going to create anything else, and they don't look like they want to particularly bust the gut to go out there and get the equaliser or try and get the win. And then the referee makes an absolutely shocking decision. He gives a penalty for a foul that simply isn't a penalty. Listen, I've had people in the instant match reaction, I've had people in the comment section, I've had people tweet me, it's not a penalty. I don't give a shit when anybody says. You're never going to be able to convince me that that's a penalty. There's not one point that Michael Keane looks at the player. There's not one point that Michael Keane purposely steps his foot out. He's constantly looking at the ball, he watches the ball, and he accidentally knocks into the player. Now, if he accidentally throws his arm up, or he accidentally pushes the player, or he accidentally volleys the player, then yeah, fair enough, it's a penalty. He merely touches him, and the player throws himself on the ball. The contact that Michael Keane put in on that player, the opposition player could have stayed standing, quite easily at the stayed standing, but he doesn't. He throws himself on the floor, he dives, let's have it right, he dives, and the referee absolutely crumbles and gives a penalty. Lee Mason, it was just the VAR. I'm not going to talk too much about Lee Mason because I'm sure you've seen the instant match reaction, and I have my thoughts and I have my opinions on that. Lee Mason's an absolute joke. He is an absolute joke. He shouldn't be refereeing at any level in England. He shouldn't be refereeing at any level in the world. He cannot do his job. He does not know the rules. He cannot referee. He cannot VAR. He is shocking. The referee who's in charge of the game has got no backbone and has got no bollocks. He is shocking as well. It was never a penalty. And tell me this, how was that a penalty for the slightest bit of touch from Michael Keane when he's looking at the ball? Constantly looking at the ball, doesn't at one point turn and look at the player. Slightly touches the player, he dives, but Richarlison getting ragged everywhere isn't a penalty. Richarlison getting ragged everywhere goes to VAR and they wave it off. And there's no bias in Premier League football. There's no agendas in Premier League football. There's no corruption in the FA. Yeah, do us a favour, mate, and see yourself out. The FA's as corrupt as any business. There's corruption, there's bias, there's agendas. It's all very clear. It's very clear. And if you're trying to tell me otherwise, you don't know what you're talking about. It's very, very clear, and it was shown again on Saturday. There's a clear agenda against Everton. I don't give a shit what anybody says, because how you can give that as a penalty and not Richarlison getting ragged to the floor is an absolute joke. And if there's no agenda against Everton, and that is just genuine human mistake, then they shouldn't be in the job. Any other profession, if they made that much of a mistake, would be chopped and sacked. So they should be sacked. They shouldn't be anywhere near a job if they're making mistakes like that. I don't give a shit. But it happens. We get, obviously, the referee gives the penalty, and yeah, it's it's harsh. Yeah, it should never have been given. Yet we look at it and we go, well, that's a disgrace of a decision. But again, Everton do the typical Everton thing, and we just capitulate. We let our heads drop, and that's it. Then he takes the penalty, he puts it in the back of the net. It's an alright penalty, to be fair to him. We move on, and from that point on, there's only one result. You literally know there's only one. I don't think there's any Evertonian that genuinely sat there and went, no, I think we can go on and get a win in here, or I'm confident that we'll get a draw. 99% of Evertonians, as soon as that penalty went in, went, there's only two things that are happening here. We're going to hold on for a draw, and by hold on, I mean they're going to have another 3 opportunities, and we're going to be lucky to get a draw, or we're getting beat. And that's exactly what I thought. As soon as that penalty went in, I thought, we're losing this game. Typical Everton style. We capitulate, we fall to bits, wet tissue. Obviously, the heads dropped, the confidence stopped, and instead of going, well, you know what, we should be winning this game. We don't deserve to be level. The penalty was a shocking penalty to concede. It was never a penalty. The referee's done us over. Let's keep our heads up, and let's at the very, very least push for a winner and get a draw. And then, with the push for a winning in that game, and we'd have kept our heads up, and we'd have gone, you know what, we don't deserve this. We don't deserve this result. We don't deserve that, that penalty decision, so let's keep our heads up and let's go out and let's push for the win. And we'd put another 2 or 3 or 4 opportunities at the goalkeeper, and we'd continue to break forward, and we'd continue to pressure the defence and pressure the goalkeeper, and we'd have only got a draw out of it because they'd have defended for their lives and they wouldn't have let us through. Then I think genuinely most Evertonians would sit back and go, well, you know what, the penalty was a shocking decision, it was never a penalty, and at least we responded positively to it. But did we respond positively to it? No. We responded as negatively as we know Everton can. We fell to bits, and that was it. We absolutely fell to bits, and you knew as soon as they went up the other end, it was only one thing. A ball's coming across the box. I don't know why 4 defenders are getting dragged to one ball. It comes across the box, and I was a little bit harsh to Luca Dean in the instant match reaction. I said I don't know why he's sticking a foot in. Realistically, he has to stick a foot in, because if he doesn't, there's a player on the back post that's putting it in the back of the net anyway. But I think throwing a foot in there, it's quite clear that the ball's only going to go one way if it comes off it, and that's in the back of the net. It does. It's in the back of the net, and all of a sudden, it's 3-2 and we've lost the game of football, and it's in a typical Everton fashion. We've been 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go. Something drastically has happened. Our heads have dropped massively, and we've just had no confidence in ourselves, and we've gone, you know what, bollocks to it. We've give up, really. We've give up. As soon as that penalty went in, we give up, and we cannot have this mentality of giving up. And this is something that we've spoken about for months and months and months, is this weak mentality at the football club. And it doesn't just stem from Marco Silva, it stems from the board, it stems from the hierarchy, it stems from Marco Silva, it stems from the team. There's a mentality in this football club that just isn't good enough. It's not a top 6 mentality, it's not a top 4 mentality, it's a mid-table Premier League mentality at the very best. And even that's a stretch, because we can't win games away from home. So it's not even a mid-table Premier League mentality, it's a Premier League mentality that's thinking, well, let's just try and do as best as we can at home and write off any away games. And that isn't good enough for Everton fucking Football Club. I was 21 yesterday, I've never seen Everton win a trophy. My dad's got multiple Everton shirts of, European Cup winners, Cup finals, FA Cup winners, FA Cup finals that he's been to see, and he's seen Everton lift trophies. I've never seen Everton lift a trophy, and that's because the mentality of this football club is so incredibly weak that we will not win a trophy until something drastically changes. And the change of manager isn't going to do that. A change of manager might be necessary. And I'm going to talk about Marco Silva, because is Marco Silva's time up? I think it probably is, to be honest with you. I really do think it probably is. And if we go out and we beat Watford tomorrow, then there'll be a boost of happiness, and there'll be a boost of confidence, and there'll be a boost of, positivity. And so there should be as well. But if you can't win away games, then your time's up as Everton manager, in my opinion. If you can't go out against sides like Brighton, and you cannot at least keep your cool for the last 5 minutes of a game and hold on to, a draw, then, your time's up. We can be as good as we want at home, but if we can't win an away game, then, you've got nothing going for you. You really, really haven't. But for me, a change of manager isn't going to sort the mentality issue. We had the same mentality issue under Koeman, same mentality issue under Martinez, same mentality issue under David Unsworth. Nothing's going to change. The last manager that instilled a proper, strong mentality into Everton Football Club was David Moyes, and I don't want David Moyes back, because I'm not a believer of going back. However, something drastically needs to change in our football club, and that's not just the manager, that's not just the players, that's, stems from the top, because the mentality of this football club is far, far too weak at the minute. We can't go away from home, and we can't control a game. Never mind get a win, never mind get a result. We cannot control a game against the side that we would console very easily at Goodison Park. If that game was at Goodison Park, we'd have won that game comfortably. Absolutely comfortably, because we'd have consoled the game, we'd have had more quality in our play, we'd have had more quality in the possession, we'd have created more opportunities, and we'd have consoled the game. But did we? No, because we were away from home. And for me, there's no excuse for professional footballers that are on hundreds of thousands of pounds a month, more money than the most of us will ever earn in our lives, to shit themselves away from home just because they're playing in front of a different crowd in a different area. You're playing against the same teams that you're going to be playing at Goodison Park, and there's absolutely no excuse for that. And for me, maybe Marco Silva's time is up, because if we can't go away from home against sides like Brighton and even hold on to a draw in the last 5 minutes, then there's nothing going for you. But if we can't pick ourselves up after the stupidest of decisions, after the most biased decision by referees, then, what are we going to do? Because this VAR shit, these referee mistakes are going to happen week in, week out. The referees aren't going to change. They've never changed. They've always been shit. Lee Mason's always been woeful. Bobby Madley was shocking. So the fact that his brother or his cousin or his dad or his son or his uncle or whoever it is shocking isn't a surprise to anybody. That's never going to change. And if we can't pick ourselves up and go at the start of a game, you know what, lads, this referee's shocking, so you're not going to get anything out of him, so pick yourselves up, let's go out there and let's focus on ourselves. If we're going to go, oh, well, we lost the game because of a VAR decision, yeah, we did, yeah, our legs up because of the VAR decision, but we never at any point controlled the game before that. There was never any point that you went, you know what, we were boss today, and if it wasn't for that VAR decision, we'd have won. It was very much, well, yet the VAR's lost the game, but we weren't fantastic anyway. We weren't good anyway. So something needs to massively change. Marco Silva's substitutions were shocking. Were shocking on Saturday. They really were. Bringing, Fabian Delphon and claiming it's a positive substitution is strange, because it's not. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I've got no issue with him coming on. Obviously he scored the goal, and I'm not going to go too deep into Dom because I don't think it'd be fair to do that. Bringing Gylfi Sigurdsson on instead of bringing Moise Keane on and adding more pace and adding more intensity and adding more positivity into the game is a little bit strange. But Silva's substitutions were poor, and for me, we can give Marco Silva tomorrow's game, and we probably will go out and we will get a win, because it's at Goodison Park, it's in the club, it's under the floodlights, the fans will be there, the atmosphere will be good, but doesn't matter if we go away from home in the next couple of weeks and we get beat again, does it? It really doesn't. I've got no confidence with Everton going away from home at the minute. I've got no confidence. We could play fucking Zambia Rovers away from home and I'd have no confidence that we'd get a result. And for me, that's a massive negative. It really is a massive negative. And listen, we know it was never a penalty for Brighton, and we know that we should have had a penalty. But at the end of the day, like I said, we can talk about VAR and we can talk about the referees being shocking, but the performance by Everton overall was just not good enough. It wasn't good enough from start to finish. And yet we were let down by VAR, yet we were let down by the referees, but when you're putting in a performance that's as shocking as that, how much of it can you put down to VAR and how much of it can you just put down as, shocking play, realistically. We're now in the live comment. Jonathan says we are so bad with Silva in charge. Mike says Spurs have turned into crap over contact issues. What's our excuse? What is our excuse? If someone can find out what our excuse is, please do tell me. H says, how much of a missed lad, just got it yet. Just been talking about the game, to be honest with you, mate. I'm sure you didn't really want to review the game anymore anyway. If you're not enjoying this team, by the way, please do leave a like. Nearly 40 people in the live comments, so get your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the team if you have enjoyed as well, or you're not enjoying. Obviously we're not going just yet. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. It means a massive amount to me, and get this team shared, get the video shared, and go and follow us on Twitter as well while you're at it. David says, it's the subs and team alterations after the subs, it just pisses me off. No plan B, just that oh shit response. Yeah, exactly, it's panic response, and something that I think we've spoke massively about with Marco Silva over the last 6 to 8 months, and he pretty much throughout his reign is the reactiveness of his substitutions, the reactiveness of his tactics, the reactiveness of his team selection, and not the proactiveness. And for me, if you've got a Premier League manager in this day and age, they need to be proactive. They can't be reactive. You can't be making substitutions, you can't be making team selections on a reactive basis. You need to be proactive. You need to see a situation clearly coming and change the game based on that situation. When Brighton were constantly attacking in the first half, and when Brighton were constantly attacking in the second half, we should have known, okay, we might sneak a goal here, but there's absolutely no guarantee they won't go up the end and sneak another goal. So let's make a positive substitution. It was the perfect opportunity to do that when Bernard had to come off. Let's put Moise Keane on. Let's add more pace. Let's add more positivity. Let's bring a player into the game that the opposition will go, shit, what does he bring? We don't know much about him. Let's be panicked about him. Not bring a player in that the opposition will go, well, just don't give him the ball, 25, 30 yards outside. Just just mark him, make sure you're anywhere near him, because he doesn't move an awful lot. And as long as he hasn't got, free space 25, 30 yards away from goal, he'll be all right. AM says, I'm not an Everton fan myself, but I don't think Everton's recruitment is as bad as people say. I believe another manager gets more out of that group of players. Fair enough, maybe you're right. Paul says, if we lose to Watford, is that Silva sack camp? I think it is, yeah. I can imagine the Watford players to be hugely motivated to win this game, to put the boot into Silva. Yeah, they will. They will be hugely motivated, of course they will. Mike says, Bernard's injury can allow us to see more of Keane. Can it? Or does it just allow us to see Sigurdsson in the 10 and Iwobi on the left? David says Keane needs time. Two up front would help both Dom and Moyes as well as Gomez and Davis. I agree. Carl says, hey, just finished college. It was an effing disgrace on Saturday. I'm not using the VAR as an excuse. We were shit. Silva has to go. Fucking terrible. Pickford with another shit performance. Hard to disagree with that. Paul says we should get relegated, win the championship, and shut the red shite up about not winning a trophy since 95. What a shocking trophy that'd win. What a shocking way that'd be like, well, we've just won a trophy, It's not since 95 now if it was the bloody championship or it was the playoffs. That's not how we want to win a trophy, is it? Let's be honest. Stoll says, and I don't think we're going to get relegated. I still don't. Stoll says, sad that it's got to the point, but Silva has to go. It's not even fully his fault, but for whatever reason, it's clear he can't get maximum effort and determination out of the group of players. I agree, and I think that's a really, really good point. Christian says, goodbye, Marco Silva. David says, sorry, Paul, but Liverpool have been relegated more than we have. Let's just move into the SPL. Carl says, we need a... Oh, where are we? Sorry. Carl says... Where are we? We need a striker, a good clinical striker. We do. Mike says, yeah, I agree. There's an agenda against Everton and looking for Silva's blood. And they should be negative against Marco Silva, but I just think overall there's an agenda. Christian says, Bernard injury, exactly. Carl says, no agenda against us, we're just shit because our manager's a dickhead. I don't necessarily think there's an agenda against us when pundits say we're bad or pundits say we're not good enough. I mean, in terms of with referees and stuff, and it's quite clear that certain referees don't like Everton. And, that's just how I feel, obviously. That's just my opinion. Goodav says, how good is Tom Davis better than Barkley? I don't know. He's still got a lot to learn, obviously, but, so is Ross Barkley, really. Reece says, Liverpool top of the league. Yeah, don't know what you get out of that, but yeah. Christian says, fuck you, VAR. Carl says, Holgate defensively is shite. I don't actually think Holgate was too bad the other day, to be honest with you. I think we massively missed Jerry Mina, but I think you could have anyone in that sense of defence and would still massively miss Jerry Mina because I think he's been our best performer all season. David says he's letting himself down. I don't care what anyone says. We have a very good group of players with plenty of talent, but it's still a mess, Mike. I agree. David says, who cares? Reece, exactly. Carl says, we don't have strikers. That's the problem. And Carl says, Reece, fair enough, lad. Eric says, I'm done with Silva. His in-game management is shocking, his subs are shocking. Hard to disagree with that. Mike says, agree, David, it's a complete mess. Silva has to expect the act before Xmas. Lewis says, embarrassing game, mate. Silva's tactic cost us the game. Bernard getting injured and Silva results back to the team that wasn't working. Bringing Sigurdsson on, we finish with Gomez, Davis and Sigurdsson. I agree, and Delph on the pitch. David says, if it doesn't change quickly, considering our games over the next 2 months, it's realistic to say we could be in serious trouble. It really, really is spot on. David says, November, 10 games, 10 points. Hernandez says, why do you think Silva decided to play with 4 centre-mids on the pitch? Don't understand the subs. I'd never understand Marco Silva's subs, to be honest with you. Mike says, can't see any change on the horizon. We need a miracle. We do. Carl says, Keane has been shit so far, but I'm not going to give him time. But if he doesn't score by Xmas, sell him. Harsh. But I suppose he needs game time to be able to score, but I suppose he also needs to, impress on the field when he gets his opportunities, and Insane as well. And obviously, none of us know whether he is impressing Insane or he isn't. Hernandez says, also, hope we had a fantastic birthday. I did, thank you very much, mate. Harry says, only one solution, sack Silva. Have been given him the benefits of the doubt, but he's just clueless. Fair enough. Let me know your thoughts on Marco Silva. Is it time for him to go now? Do you still think he should be given time? Let me know your thoughts. David says, Macheri has said about the club being a musician, Mike. Yeah, that is exactly what he has funded. Good point. Carl says, I just hate how it comes to this. Richarlison told Silva to F off, apparently. Again, I don't know whether that's just a rumour, whether there's any truth in that. There's going to be a lot of rumours about players falling out with each other and losing the dressing room and all that sort of stuff. I don't think that's one of the big issues we should think about now. I think it's the fact that we can't hype ourselves up to get anything out of away games is a massive issue. David says, anyway, that's enough from me. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be back on Wednesday. Yeah, listen, we're going to obviously delve into the end of the season in just a second. Paul says, Everton versus Liverpool Carabao Cup final. Wait to you see. I hope not, mate. I hope not. Carl says, Keane hasn't done one good thing. He makes stupid fouls, can't shoot. Fair enough. I think he needs to be given more opportunities, to be honest. And as it says, alright Cam, hope you're okay and have a good birthday. Piss up last night. Lol. I didn't actually get that drunk, to be honest with you, mate. I don't drink an awful lot because I just feel sick and get hungover straight away, me. So I'm not a big drinker. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's live team. Like we said, an absolute capitulation once again from Everton. Another shocking performance, another shocking result. But what do we expect? What do we expect now? Joel says, are you silvered in or out? I'm silvered in for the next 3 to 5 games. I will give Silva the benefit of the doubt. However, if we lose another away game, he's gone for me. He has to go. And, you know, tomorrow's result doesn't really matter in any sense of the imagination for me. Mitchell says, I've stuck 60 on Silva next in the sack race. I don't think it's a bad bet. Carl said, if we lost, but we put it 100% in, fair enough, but we don't. Spot on. Really, really good comment. And Anders says, Silva has to go. Hodgkin is getting more out of a worse team. Hodgkin, yeah, he is, exactly. A lot of managers are getting more out of worse teams than Marco Silva's getting at the minute. And that's why there's a massive issue with Everton. And Stoll says, not impressed with Everton's managerial target. Can't keep making these risky appointments. It's time for us to just get a solid manager. Rafford is the best option. I agree with that. Spot on. If Silva does go, I don't want to see Eddie Howe. I don't want to see Sean Dyche. I don't want to see David Moyes. I don't want to see managers that have the potential to be top managers. I want to see a top manager come in. Carl says, Joel, can you be Silva in? We lost to Brighton and Burnley this month. Exactly. And, well, if you're Silva in, that's your opinion. At the end of the day, that's your opinion, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, and Joel's opinion's fair enough. Obviously, everyone will have different opinions at this time. And as I said, I'll have to watch the team on YouTube, replay, lol. Well, there you go. Make sure you send it to all your friends and family as well. And Carl says, we need Valencia's manager. Has he managed in the Premier League before? Would he be able to do it with this squad? I don't know. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. Like I said, another massively disappointing result for Everton, another massively disappointing performance. Please do leave a like if you have enjoyed this stream. We'll be actually back tomorrow. Obviously, Everton play Watford in the Carabao Cup tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I'm off work, so I'll be back at around about 1:30 p.m. We'll do the preview then. I would do it again later today, but I'm going out again, like I said, for my birthday, so I do apologise about that. But we will be back tomorrow afternoon, so you can get, home, you can get comfortable, you can watch the preview, and then hopefully we can get a little bit psyched up for tomorrow's game tomorrow night. So anyway, big thanks to everybody for watching. Please do leave a like on your stream if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at MightyBluesYT. Once again, a big thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments. Absolutely unbelievable support once again. Really do appreciate it as per usual. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Don't forget to join us at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon to discuss tomorrow's game against Watford. Big game for Marco Silva. However, it doesn't really matter because we're at home and we probably expect us to go out and put in a decent performance and a decent win. I think it's more the away form that we need to focus on now. Big thanks for watching. Really does mean a massive amount to me. David says Marcelo. Carl says, well, every Prem manager we have had is shit. David says too, I agree. Hazard says, not a piss up though, lol. And Carl says, can't watch, I'm in college. Do apologise about that, Carl. Hopefully you can catch up before the game when you finish college. Anyway, big thanks to everybody for watching. Please do leave a like on the stream if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. If you're watching on YouTube, leave your comments in the comment section down below and I'll be reading and trying to reply to as many of them as possible. Big thanks to everybody for watching. If you can, don't forget to join us at 1:30 tomorrow for the game preview to the Watford game. It mean a massive amount to me. David says, me neither, I'm in therapy. Well, hopefully you can catch it at some point after it. Big thanks to everybody for watching live. Big thanks to everybody for watching on YouTube. Leave a like if you have enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. And I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.